Hey guys, welcome to part 4 of Sonic After the Sequel. This is Foliage Furnace Zone, one of my favorite zones in the game, if only because of how beautiful it is. It's not my favorite zone in the game, but it's pretty high up there. So yeah, I love this place, I love the music, I love the scenery. It is just so gorgeous. And if anything, I wish this was the kind of place we'd see at the beginning of something like Sonic 4. It's just so creative. It's just these massive columns that look kind of like trees. They're not trees, they're just these weird columns that just reach up into the sky. And I love how many layers there are to the background. I love how they all scroll along. And you can still see the ocean in the background. It just gives such a great feeling that this place is so vast and you're so small, and it's just so cool. There's so much to this place. It is, I mean, I do think this is the most beautiful place in the entire game. I love the zone if only for that. And you know, it is fairly original. When have we seen something like this? Just these massive columns with shrubbery going around them that look kind of like giant trees, huh? Anyway, this is a pretty annoying enemy. You can't touch them, you'll get hit because they have spikes on the sides. You can only hit them if you have the spike shield. So yeah, that's kind of a dick move. But whatever, I see what they were going for. You just gotta stay away from them. This is a really annoying enemy here, in that you can't hit them at all. You just gotta avoid them entirely. Or whatever. They kind of spring up from the ground sometimes, and it's hard to predict where they're gonna be. Anyway. This stage is one that I always love playing as Tails. As well, I mean, I'll explain why as we go on. Anyway, just look at that background, man. Hey, you got these weird structures in the background that make it feel... Well, actually, I'll talk about that in a little bit. For now... What is that doing here? Yeah, apparently this is an early version of Bubbles, who we won't see again until Marble Garden Zone in Sonic 3. That was just a little something I threw in there for a friend from Rage Play Commentaries. Hey, wait, look at these guys. We got Bubbles here, in droves, and they're completely defenseless. They can't do anything. They just float there with their derpy faces, just waiting to be pummeled by you, and you just gotta bounce along them. And I think that's hilarious. That's a pretty obvious satire of Sonic 4. The way the bubbles are used in Sonic 4 is so stupid. They're just these floating targets for you to practice using the homing attack on. A technique that, a trick that requires absolutely no skill whatsoever. Because, look, I can understand it being needed in a 3D game, where, you know, it's easier to miss an enemy, it's harder to aim at them. But in the case of a 2D game, if you're not able to aim at an enemy in a 2D game, that's just unacceptable. There's no reason for some attack that just teleports you to an enemy and flings you to them. But what's cool look at that background. What's cool about what they've done here with the bubbles is, as silly as they are, and as bad I feel for taking them down, they managed to turn this into a fun little minigame. Instead of using the homing attack to get along these chains, you actually aim at them, and you bounce. So it requires more skill from the player, because you have to actually aim at them. You know, it's player input, you don't just let the game destroy them for you. And I just think that's so cool, because it actually is really fun to, you know, bounce along these things and just practice. And I just think it's great that they not only satirized something stupid like that, but they managed to actually make it fun. They managed to make something good out of it. And I think that's the whole point of satire. You know, if you're going to criticize something, I mean, I don't think it's valid when people say, well, let's do you do better. But if you can make something better out of it, you should at least try, you know? So anyway, here's another chain of bubbles. Oh, by the way, now that I have the spike shield, I can take down those guys no problem, as we'll see here. Anyway, you may have noticed there's some, like, weird technological what's-its here and there. We'll delve into that as we get to Act 3. Well, actually, this act. As you can see, we're moving into a different sort of place right now. This is a theme of this zone that I think is really cool. But again, we'll delve into that in Act 3. For now, let's go to the special stage. And yes, I will get the emerald this time. You probably hear my dog snoring right now. I couldn't get her to stop during the LP. Oh yeah, sorry about things like that crossing onto the screen. I can't really do anything about that. Anyway, that thing keeps saying that, but apparently I'm still able to use Malwarebytes no problem. But anyway. They pick a perfect music to play during the final special zone. That's just great. As you can see, I'm having a much easier time with it this time because I'm just hitting more of all the right places and jumping at the right times. But as you can see, I'm still having trouble avoiding some of these globs. There are some where it's like, it just can't be helped. But don't worry, I'll get the emerald. I'll get it this time. This stage can be pretty stressful, I'm gonna be honest. You just gotta keep hoping that you hit enough of the springs to, you know, make it through the goop. Anyway, congratulations, Tails! You got the last Chaos Emerald! Yay, what do I win? Nothing! So yeah, now we can play as Super Sonic. We'll see, in the next zone. Sonic Act 2. Prepare for a complete tonal shift. Welcome to Act 2 of Foliage Furnace Zone, and this is where the furnace part comes in. And holy crap, it feels like I've stepped into a completely different zone. Not that I have a problem with it, I think it's really cool that they managed to pack so much into one zone. So it's not like you're just in the same place over and over again in every act. You know, that's one thing I can't stand about, like, Sonic 1, for example. And I think they did a great job of, you know, working around that here. Anyway, this stage has a lot of these barrels, some of which only Tails could reach. A lot of enemies to, you know, bounce along. Again, just a really fun idea, just having to bounce along these. It's one of the things that really shows what's so great about the classics, you know, being able to propel yourself along and having to be so acute with how you know, manipulate the physics and all that. Anyway, this is a place where the fire shield comes in really handy, you know, because obviously it protects you from fire. You know what, Tails is actually a lot easier to control in this game, and thanks, Maddie. I know this is a strange thing to say, but controlling Sonic and controlling Tails is different. Sonic feels, you know, like Sonic does, but there's a weird heaviness to him, in that he'll often get hooked on an enemy and just keep hitting him and hitting him and hitting them and not be able to break free, while Tails is able to, like, you know, just, you really do aim, like, every time you hit someone. He's lighter, and the way his tails, you know, flow behind him, you're able to, you know, tell where exactly you're pointed, where you're going. And that in turn makes it easier for him to just move around. Like you saw, I made it through that chain of like 12 bubbles. No problem as Tails. I didn't need to fly or anything. As Sonic, that actually would have been much harder. That's not to say that Sonic controls poorly. It just shows how tweaking something even the teensiest bit can make a character play wildly differently. Anyway, this is... I always play as Tails in this stage. I just prefer it because, you know, there's just some things that feel like they were made for him somehow. Certain, you know, ledges that you're able to reach with this flying ability and whatnot. I mean, it's still fun to play as Sonic, don't get me wrong, and you can still, like, play with the bubble chains just fine. But for some reason, I just enjoy playing this stage as Tails more. Hey, this is a really, really cool stage, and I love this music. Oh, yeah, these barrels. Reminds me of Donkey Kong Country. By the way, here's a shout out to the Pixel Brains, Steve and Ron. Yeah, check that out. They're doing a Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country 2 right now. If you want to know how their playthroughs usually go, well, it's something like this.
Why?
Look, no, look at his face.
He's like, hey guys.
Go climb up, just climb up.
Oh shit. You're a prick.
It's a bee.
Oh shit. Oh, you dumb. Whoa! That bee was for bad.
Oh my god!
No! I was like hanging on for dear life, like, oh, you stupid balloon! Holy shit!
Oh,
it's
god.
a caveman! Oh, he's gonna jump on you. He's looking for his stone wheel right now.
Get ready to jump.
Oh my god! You little pudgy piece of shit. And maybe if I wasn't sitting on a 672-pound fucking otter, I would have been able to fucking jump. But his stupid fat ass was thinking about fucking cream puff pies and fucking cheesecake all fucking day. Get out of here, you little fucking faggot with your little shitty fucking earrings and your big fucking beady eyeballs. Get the fuck out of here, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass if you touch me. Fuck.
Oh my god! Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Don't.
Oh, no! I hate this game!
Thank you, we're past this stupid. Get the stick, you idiot!
Oh!
I love you so much.
That's their formula. Ron says or does something stupid. Steve laughs. I laugh. That's basically it. Rinse and repeat. And they made a lot of great videos. I really enjoy their shit. It's just really fun. So yeah, go check it. You know, if you liked what you saw there, go ahead and check them out because there's a lot more where that came from. And their Let's Plays are different than mine in that they're live. Look, I understand some of you guys don't like this kind of LP where I've already played the game and I'm recording my voice separately because it feels unnatural, you know, too staged and whatnot. I get it. You want it to be, like, fresh. You want it to be live, where, like, everything is my real reaction to it when it's first happening. But you have to understand, these videos would be so much worse if I did that because it'd take me longer to make it to the gameplay. I'd be dying a lot, you know, and I just wouldn't be able to, like, form any coherent, you know, more enlightened thoughts about the game. Doing it this way, I'm able to be more informative and everything and really give, like, my best, you know, most formed opinion about it. And the gameplay is going to be faster and everything. Just trust me. I mean, look at my ZXLP. That LP was horrible because they did it the traditional way. Granted, it was a game I had already played it before, but I approached it like it was, you know, like traditional Let's Play. That's not what I'm doing here, and that's why this Let's Play is going to be much better. Anyway, the gimmick of this stage is that these trains go by and you have to avoid the trains. If you see the lights flashing, get away from the trains. If you're on the track, get off the track. And yeah, you just have to be really careful not to be run over. I guess you could say that's something that was kind of inspired by Sonic Heroes, with the trains that appeared in Rail Canyon and Bullet Station. And it's just another cool thing about this game that shows how easily, you know, certain things from 3D games like that can work in a space like this. I know it might seem like I was safe on that platform there, but I was not. If you see exclamation marks on the platforms, you're not okay. You gotta get off that platform to a higher place. And again, this is another thing that makes it easier to play through this stage as Tails, because I can just fly above the trains if I absolutely have to. Anyway, you may notice that while this seems to have a really strong nature theme, in this act, there's a lot more, you know, industrial stuff. There's trains, and there's stations, there's tracks, and there's these weird structures in the background. And that's something I think is pretty cool about this zone, is that it's not just pure nature. You've got these technological what's-its around, and I think that's cool because too often people just go with a nature versus technology theme. And that's kind of like what Sonic versus Eggman is all about, but I like that in this zone at least, you have this nice equilibrium of the two. If I were going to see this in the next stage as well, but I just think it's really strong here because of how beautiful the nature is. So then you've got these, you know, these bits that don't really seem to affect the environment all that much, don't really seem to make it any worse, and it's just a cool thing to see. It's just a unique thing that you don't see often enough, and it makes things less simple-minded. It blurs lines and all. It makes you think. And I know some of you think I'm reading too much into this, but you know, this stuff is integral to like the themes of Sonic, just in general, and the classic games especially. And again, it's just cool to see that sort of thing here. Like, at first I thought that all these trains and everything were owned by Eggman, and while I'm sure he's invaded it with his badniks, and maybe he manufactured some of the parts that were used to build these trains, I think this is just how this zone is. You know, the trains don't seem to be burning anything, the furnace part doesn't seem to be affecting the trees. It's just a good blend of nature and technology. Oh, apparently these trains are being piloted by badniks. I guess this place is owned by Eggman. Time for a boss. Something I like about this boss is that, well, if you look at the background, which you can hardly see right now, it's the end of the day. And I just think it's cool because so far we've been playing like during the daytime. You could say we start in the morning or just noon, and like we've been at this for hours in Sonic's time. And I like that. I like it when there's a steady sense of time, like where it doesn't just jump like daytime, nighttime, nighttime. You know, it's a nice steady change. Anyway, this boss has like 2 phases, or like 2.5. First he'll shoot you with these fireballs, then he'll shoot these laser beams after you hit him a few times. You can't hit him on the bottom because you'll just bounce off like it's something you'd find in a typical casino stage in a Sonic game. You just gotta jump above that red spot, hit him on the top. Sometimes those lasers will get in the way, you'll think you'll have a chance, and then you'll have to wait a little while for him to come back down because of the lasers, but whatever. It's still an easy phase of the boss. The next phase, it's pretty interesting. I fudge it up quite a bit. On my first run I did a much better job dodging all of these things. I guess I just got kind of overconfident as Tails, like, yeah, it's easy to dodge everything as him. And, well, I ended up dodging very little of this. All you have to do is hit the, that part with Eggman in it. The thing that looks like an eyeball. Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's got the eye, and then it's got the teeth and whatnot. It looks like a giant eel or something. Yeah, you don't even have to be curled up in a ball when you hit Eggman. Even just, like, if you hit an enemy while you're flying around, you'll get hurt by them. But here, just your touch is enough to send Eggman's ship, like, reeling back, like... So anyway, how many things did I remember to talk about here? Tails controls really well for this zone. You got the bubbles gimmick, you got the barrels, you got the shout-out to Pixel Brains. I think I've covered just about everything I wanted to in this zone. Huh, how about that? Oh yeah, the music. Actually, we'll talk about the music in the next zone, I swear. Yeah, I figure that's the kind of thing I should talk about more throughout the whole game, but we're gonna talk about it in the next zone, and that's gonna be one of the focuses of the next part. Yeah, we'll cover it there. Let's go. Apparently Mighty is just about as fast as Sonic, and he has the same shoes. So yeah, apparently that EG logo has something to do with Eggman. Pretty obviously. Well, that's that. See you in part 5.